Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. So in today's video, we're going to be looking at 3 different ways we can use our washi tape. Some of the ways I'm sure you'll be familiar with, but it's just a little bit of inspiration for how we can use our washi tape in card making. So we're going to be using it with an embossing folder, we're going to be using it with a stencil, and then we're also going to be using it with some dies as well. All the products that I'm using today, I'll link as many of them as I can in the description box below, so that if there's anything you want to have a look at, you'll be able to do so. So for the first card, we're going to use this stencil. Now this is a gorgeous fox stencil. It's from Funky Fossil Designs, and it also comes with the mask. And there's 2 different ways that you can use washi tape with stencils. You can simply lay the washi tape over the stencil and then cut through the aperture. Or, as we're going to do today, we're going to use the washi tape on the cardstock, and then we're going to cut around the mask. I'll leave a link in the description box below, or I'll add it at the end of this video, a link to that other video that I've done as well. So I'm just laying down some washi tape on a scrap of cardstock that's big enough to take the mask. And once I've layered that all up, I'm then just going over the back with a pencil around the mask. So I'm just drawing around it. You could have done it on the front with a washi tape, but I just thought it'd be easier to see from the back of the card. And also if you do go perhaps inside of the lines or outside of the lines, it's not going to matter because no one's going to see it on the back. I'm using my cutter bee scissors just to cut all the way around the fox. So these are really good scissors for fuzzy cutting. They're definitely my favourite because you can get into all the little details. And there you can see we've got our lovely fox cut out using the washi tape. So first of all today I'm going to make the washi tape elements for the cards, and then we'll turn them into cards at the end of the video. And so for our second way of using the washi tape, we're now going to use some dies. These are the silhouette tree dies. They were from Funky Fossil Designs. They were from a release last year, and sadly they're no longer available. But I'm sure you'll have something similar in your stash, and of course you could do this with flowers, animals, any kind of dies that you've got that are solid. You can definitely use the washi tape in the same way. So I'm using the Woodgrain washi tape at the bottom for the stumps of the trees, and then the variegated coloured washi tape for the tops of the trees. And I think it gives a really lovely effect. So you've got kind of they do look very autumnal. You've got that kind of change of colour, and yeah, they're just going to make a great focal point on a card. And the third way we can use our washi tape in card making is to create an embossed panel. So I've picked out a couple of washi tapes. These were from Funky Fossil Designs. They were part of a mixed media Kim Dello collection. And all I'm going to do is alternate them on a cardstock panel. Now, of course, you could go horizontally as I'm doing here, or you could go vertically. You could weave the washi tape as I've done in another video. There's lots of different ways that you could create this panel. But once I've covered that panel with washi tape, I've then run it through with the embossing folder, and you get this really gorgeous textured background, which is great for quick and easy cards. So now we've got all of our 3 washi tape elements made, we're now going to turn them into cards, and I'm going to start by using that gorgeous embossed panel that we've created. I'm just bringing in my waffle flower grip mat, and I've got this Sending Love and Hugs die, which is from Paper Roses, and I'm just going to use this gorgeous magenta ink. This is a water reactive ink pad that is from Stamps by Me. It's the first time that I've used their ink, so I'm just kind of trying them out at the minute, and I really love the vibrancy of the colour. Unfortunately, this one did stain my grip mat, but I think you would find that with any kind of reds or pinks, the pigment that's used tends to stain. And obviously the grip mat is just a piece of photopolymer, so in the same way that your clear stamps can get stained, the grip mat can as well. But I'm not worried about that. It is a tool, it's there to be used, and of course it won't stay clear forever. Now, I was going to use the shadow outline part of the die in vellum, but as you can see, I was kind of playing around with it. I didn't really like how it looked. I kind of felt the sentiment got lost. So I recut that out from some white cardstock. I've stuck that down with some glue, and then I've got a pink matte layer just to go behind the washi tape embossed panel that we've created. And I'm just using a 5x7 card blank today, but of course you can work in whatever size card that you prefer. Once I've stuck that all down, I'm going to add some foam tape on the back of the sentiment, and then I'm going to attach that down to the centre of the card panel. Of course, you don't have to add foam tape, but I do think it adds just a little bit of extra interest to the card front. And then I'm just going to add a few little gems just to finish, and I'm just using my tweezers to kind of help me pick those up and stick them down. And that is the first panel turned into a card. Really quick and easy. So let's step it up with the next card. Now, I create this gorgeous background and sadly decide that it just doesn't work with the fox that we've created. The colours on the washi tape just don't quite match the background, but you'll see how we can kind of rectify that. And so I left this footage in so that you could see how I created the stenciled background and then how I ended up with the background that I chose to use today. So this is the Leafy background stencil from Funky Fossil Designs, and I've already kind of toned the white down by using the Vintage Photo Distress Oxide, and then I'm just going over it with a mix of reds and yellows and the orange. And then as you can see, the panel looks gorgeous, but the fox, it just gets lost in the background, and because some of the washi tape has got like a green and purpley blue tone to it, it just didn't look right to me. Now, I didn't want to waste all the ink on the stencil, so I've cut another card panel down, spritzed it with water, and I'm just going to lay that flat on the card panel and just see what ink kind of transferred. And I wasn't planning on still using this, but I really liked the way the background turned out. It kind of looks like a little bit of a hot mess here, but I promise you, when it's dried, you can still see some of those leaves, and it actually looked really pretty. And then it was subtle enough to go really well with the fox. To kind of make the fox stand out a little bit, I decided to bring in the stencil, and I'm just going through the stencil with some shaded lilac, and then I'm going around the edge of it with Rustic Wilderness. And it just then helps the actual washi tape image just pop a little bit. It gives it a little bit of a border and makes it stand out. To just make the fox pop a little bit more as well, I do decide to just go around the edge with the Rustic Wilderness Distress Oxide, and I'm just using my blending brush just to go around the edges. It also just kind of neatens up the fuzzy cutting as well, and it just really helped it stand out on the background. I had already cut a panel of gold metallic cardstock to be a matte layer, so I'm just going to attach the background panel down to that. And then I'm able to stick the fox down. I decided to use some foam tape, again, just to pop it up a little bit, give it a little bit of extra interest. And then for a sentiment, I found a sentiment that was already stamped out in my stash that says, "All good things are wild and free." And I just thought it really kind of stood out on the card because it was white embossed on black cardstock. So that is the second card finished for today. For the third card, I'm going to use these tree dies. I dug out the Mixed Media Kaleidoscope paper pad from Funky Fossil Designs. This was one of my favourite paper pads, and sadly it's been discontinued. But I'm just going to trim down my card panel just a little bit so that I can then add a layer of this pattern paper over the top. This Mixed Media Kaleidoscope paper pad matched the washi tape that I've used on the trees, so that was one of the reasons why I chose to use it today. It actually came as a collection at the time. The washi tape is still available, so I have linked that in the description box below. So now I've got my background all set and ready. I'm just going to cut down a little bit of a panel of white cardstock, and I really just want that tree to pop, so I choose not to kind of let it get lost in the background. I really want it to stand out on the white cardstock. So I'm just going to stick the background down, and then I'm going to attach the tree to that white card panel. And I'm just using my fine tip glue bottle just to do that. It's great for detailed images and stamps and dies. Of course, you could use double-sided adhesive sheets when you die cut, but I often forget, and I actually find using liquid glue is fine. And I like the fact that you've got some wiggle room because I like to make sure everything's nice and straight. I've added some foam tape to that panel there, and then I'm just going to pop that down just slightly off center on the front of that card. I'm then digging out some enamel dots from Funky Fossil Designs. I've got some kind of like really pale blue ones that really match the paper pad, and I'm just going to pop those in each of the corners so that they kind of look a bit like brads. And then I've got this sentiment. Again, it also says "All good things are wild and free." It's a slightly different font, and again, I'm just going to use some foam tape to pop that up there. Just off camera, I added that to a black card blank, and then that is the finished card for today. So thank you so much for joining me. I really hope that it's given you some inspiration for how you can use your washi tape in your card making. I hope it's given you some ideas and ways that you can use up that stash. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you've enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more from my channel. And as always, I'll look forward to seeing the next video. Take care.